Am I the asshole for telling one of my daughter's classmates' moms to F off about what I put in my daughter's lunch? For some context before the story, I cook Asian foods regularly for dinner and for my daughter, Lily's lunches at school. This is because my family enjoys these foods, I like to cook these foods, and my mom cooked a bunch of these foods growing up since she's half Japanese. Oftentimes, I'll either give my daughter some leftovers from last night's dinner, plus a fruit veggie and a snack, or I'll make her a quick little bento box or some other thing really quick. So, after school one day, my daughter wanted to play on the playground for a bit before we went home. I said she could play for a few minutes, and she ran off to play. I was waiting next to this other parent, who we'll call Deborah. While I was waiting, Deborah came up to me. "Deborah, are you Lily's mother?" Me. "Oh yeah, I am. Why?" Deborah. "Well, your daughter's lunches have been bothering my son, and I would like to ask you to pack something else." Me. "What? How are they bothering him?" She then proceeded to start talking about how her son was complaining about my daughter's lunches smelling terrible and that he thought it was disgusting. She also said her son didn't eat most of his lunch because he was so grossed out. Me. "Okay, I understand your son doesn't like the smell, but can't he just sit somewhere else?" Deborah. "Are you kidding me? My son shouldn't have to put up with whatever crap you make your daughter bring to this school. It's disgusting." And she started making more vaguely racist complaints, but I was fed up at this point. Me. "Listen, I understand your son might not like my daughter's food, but he can very easily just not sit next to her. I'm not changing what's in my daughter's lunches because you and your kid don't want to exist near Asian food." She angrily stomped off with her kid then, and my daughter finished playing soon after, so we went home. I talked to my husband about it, and he said that maybe I shouldn't have told her to F off, to avoid her bothering us in the future. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Racism should always be called out, and you were right to blow up on her. Though I will admit your husband could have a point, as it is a possibility this is not the end of this conflict. If your child brings up anything about the other lady's kid bullying her or anything, act on it quickly, not the asshole. That woman 100% earned the F off. We need to start telling more people to F off when they think that they should be able to tailor their experience of the world by controlling what other people are doing, not the asshole. She was openly racist and aggressive. She gets what she gives, not the asshole. First, Deborah is being racist. Second, Deborah's son is going to have to learn that things he doesn't like exist and will continue to exist no matter how he feels about them. I'd tell that entitled turd to F off too. And if her brat starts bullying your daughter, contact the school and put a stop to it immediately. Depends on what it is, doesn't it? I mean, is it some exceptionally stinky fish? I've had coworkers heat up some nasty fish in the microwave at the office and end up making the place reek for hours on end. Yes, subjecting other people to your really stinky food in a common area would make you the asshole. If it's just something that most people would have no problem with and the kid is just being a little princess, then no, you aren't. Not the asshole. Tell the school. She was bothered by her son being bothered by your daughter's lunch. Nothing you would have said would have appeased her unless you promised to only bring jam sandwiches, and even then she'd find something to complain about. I made a kid's day when I complimented his lunch. It was Asian food lovingly packed by his mom. He lit up when I said I ate those things too. Oh, she thinks her food is disgusting. Well, I think their attitude and entitlement is disgusting. The mom is probably jealous that she doesn't have the initiative to make her son the kind of meals that you make your daughter. Your lunches are probably much healthier than the school lunches as well, not the asshole, at all. Mom can F right off with that entitled attitude. Honestly, if I witnessed you do this at my kid's school, I'd be like, "Excuse me, are we best friends now because I want to be LOL?" Not the asshole given the clear racism, but I think at times I've been in the office and someone insists on microwaving fish and it disturbs everyone. So I'm in two minds here. I feel like it's an unspoken rule to not bring pungent food into a communal setting. But I've also been in the embarrassing position when someone called me out for bringing a cheese and onion sandwich to school my mom had made me. I was 8 at the time, and I'm still a little scarred from that teasing, shaming from the other kid. So I also really hope that while you're able to stand up for yourself, you're not putting your child at risk of being teased by other children, because that shit hurts. Again, in a perfect world, everyone would be tolerant of one another, but kids are just kids and have no filters. So this year, it's actually a bit more complex on further thought. In conclusion, do what you think is best for your kid, but also ask your kid how she feels about her lunches. She may surprise you. Let us know how you get on. When people feel comfortable being racist, they should learn to feel comfortable with being told to F off. Racists don't get to feel safe and happy sitting in a stew of hate and bigotry. It needs to be named and shamed until they stuff that nastiness so deep inside that it can only hurt the racist, not innocent people living their lives however they choose. I like how everyone here assumes what Deborah said was racist without any specifics or further questions. Also, you failed to mention specifically what you're packing for lunch aside from the fact that it's Asian and leftovers from last night's dinner. If you're stinking up a wide area with some potent ass fish, then maybe Debbie has a point. Not the asshole. Given the way the boy's mom went about it, you were totally justified in telling her to F off. Obviously, this little boy's mom is an asshole, but you may still want to be conscious of what you're sending in with your kid for lunch if it leads or has led to other kids, besides this boy not wanting to sit next to her because of the smell. I'd ask your daughter about it. She may love your cooking, but not like if it makes other kids not want to sit near her. I cook a lot on a smoker, and while my family may love it and be drawn in by the smells, I could see some of them being a bit overpowering to stick in the lunchbox as the kids sit very close together at the lunch table, so I send in other things for lunch. Kids at that age can be very judgmental, but not particularly socially aware. They also don't have the widest or most refined palates, subsisting mostly on basic sandwiches, chicken fingers, pizza, pasta, burgers, and hot dogs. The boy was able to perceive that the smell was off-putting to him, but might not be able to understand that the food is part of his classmates' culture, so saying it's gross has deeper negative connotations. His mom should explain that to him and maybe try introducing him to foods from different cultures, but as mentioned earlier, she's an asshole. Depending on where you live, that may be the norm rather than the exception, not the asshole. The F off was well earned. I am a person with very strong smell aversions as part of a larger sensory processing disorder. Being near very strong smelling food does affect my ability to eat because it alters my perception of taste. However, that is 100% a ME problem. In elementary school, I ate lunch in a separate room and then joined my classmates for recess. I would have been horrified if someone made one of my classmates not bring a food they love or made them eat somewhere else because of me. No, you should absolutely tell that hag to F off. I swear, people these days just can't keep to themselves. I don't like the smell of seafood, any kind. So what should I do if my coworkers love seafood and eat it regularly? Tell them not to eat a healthy meal because it bothers me? Hell no. I move my ass to the window or another place where it doesn't offend me. Everyone is so alpha male or alpha female these days, or at least they like to think so. It's very annoying, actually. People need to seriously chill at all that small stuff, and this is definitely small stuff, so I think you were right by telling that woman to F off. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I'm sorry, you and many others have to face people like that. Like, do they not realize how delicious Asian food can be? Something doesn't have to smell perfectly pleasing to be tasty. I would have told her closed-minded self the same thing. Not the asshole, but I would just lie in this situation. Okay, absolutely. You got it, no more of that food, consider it done. WTF is she gonna do, come into the school and check? And her son likely will forget what the hell he was even talking about in a couple weeks. It sounds more like she has a problem with Asian people and it's rubbed off on her son. Who the hell is she to dictate what you pack for your daughter's lunch? If it offends him so much, why does he keep sitting next to her and complaining? Let the school know, and if they don't do something about it, then take more drastic action. There is going to be a lot of disappointment in life, and this kid needs to take advice from the Rolling Stones and learn that you can't always get what you want. Yeah, she's being closed-minded. You can't force people to eat other things that they don't want to, and also apparently her son has a very sensitive nose. And I agree with you, if he doesn't like the smell, he shouldn't move away to another table altogether, not the asshole. Though I do get why your husband might not want to start trouble by telling people to F off. However, Deborah totally deserved to be told to F off. Her son needs to get used to other cultures because their family isn't the only one that exists. Entitled as heck to tell you to change what you pack your kid just because the smell is too strong. She probably packs her kid with boring ham sandwiches. Hell no, not the asshole. I was so angry I almost couldn't finish reading because I was so eager to commend. Who the hell does that entitled lady think she is? You don't ask anyone to make something else for their family. If anything, you were too nice. She's probably jealous that you can cook such wonderful meals. Good luck. Not the asshole. While you could have refrained from actually saying F off, an F off was entirely appropriate and much deserved. You may want to consider talking to your daughter's teacher and even the principal. The mother ignored all your reasonable suggestions. It seems likely that the situation may escalate. The school should also be aware of the racism so that they can protect your daughter. Also, bringing this issue to their attention and sharing that your profanity was in response to racism may mitigate any complaints the mother may make. Definitely not the asshole. Great time for her son to learn that when someone is doing something harmless that annoys him, he should remove himself from the situation rather than expect those around him to cater to his preferences. Reminds me of my 80-year-old coworker that complained in a department meeting that people around him talk too much loud sometimes. Okay, then close your office door or put on headphones like the rest of us do. Not the asshole. She has no business telling you about your daughter's lunches, and if the kid hates the smells, then he can sit further away. But being insulting doesn't help either. IMO trying to ignore, stay civil, and take the high road with racist, stupid, or despicable people is the best way to send them to hell, but without lowering them to their level. I hope you can find new culinary ideas to improve your daughter's lunches and keep torturing the kid so that he stays away from her. She definitely doesn't need that kind of people around. This mom needs to read Yoko by Rosemary Wells. It was an absolute favorite of mine growing up and talks about this situation exactly. Except there's no racist mom encouraging her child's bigotry. So not the asshole. Lots of foods beyond Asian food have a strong smell. It seems like this mom is one of those to go about making sure her child's every whim, complaint is met with enthusiastic coddling. She's really doing her kid a disservice teaching him that his comfort comes above everyone else's, not the asshole. I thought the other mom was going to say that her son is jealous of Lily's yummy lunches. Lots of food has an odor. Tuna, soup, or in my case, when my grandmother packed my lunch, spaghetti and meatballs. I can't believe your kid is the only kid whose food has an aroma. How rude to even bring it up to you. And to bring it up the way she did? Super inappropriate. And rude. I would talk to Lily's teacher about sitting that kid away from Lily and about what she said to you. You handled the best you could. I would talk to the teacher to see if other kids complain and ask to remove the sensitive baby from your daughter's table. All foods have a smell, but if it does not bother the main group, do not worry. But if it has a strong fishy smell, others may complain. The little boy needed an excuse why he wasn't eating his lunch. He told a fib to win his mother's affection back. Now they bonded over bullying the Asian girl. He's not eating his lunch because kids often don't, or he is only eating the parts he likes. Mom is nuts to believe the kid or accept his story. Not the asshole. I only skimmed the first time I read your post and almost posted asking if you were Asian before I went back for a closer read. You were right to tell her to F off. I will also contact the school. Also, gently talk to your kid and find out if he's been saying things to her. Bullying like this comes directly from parents and can start young. It can also last for a really long time. I had a Korean coworker who had someone try to tell her that she couldn't eat in the lunchroom anymore because of her weird food. Coworker had no authority to restrict anyone from anywhere, but she tried. Check in with your kid, and if she's having any issues, work with her on the tools to combat them. My son got bullied for his lunches. What was the offending food? Beets. Yep, you read right. Beets. No store-bought beets. Beets we grew and canned. He loves beets. At worst, the only smell from them was vinegar and cinnamon. What a child eats is between the child and parent. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I grew up with one Asian parent. My sibling and I often took foods such as red bean paste, stuffed steamed Monto buns to school for lunch. Some of the other students were pretty racist against Asians. We lived near a US military base, so there were a lot of different cultures around. So we ended up telling other kids that the buns were stuffed with chocolate, just to get them to stop being nasty to us about the food we brought.